Welcome to Scripts and Giggles with Shoshana.
And Rani? That
So,
was a question if you couldn't tell.
Yeah.
I'm acting.
Yeah. So, last week we started the review for Black Mirror Series 6. And we went through a couple of episodes, but because it's so new, we had to do it in two.
Too wide. It's too
big.
It's too
Oh my gosh.
It won't fit. Oh.
That's so bad.
Beyonce, what was she thinking
No.
singing that song?
Jay-Z.
That's disgraceful. She wasn't even trying to be discreet. She said it won't fit.
Oh my gosh.
And I was minding my own business.
I did not need to know that about Jay-Z. There's so many times
Talks like this because he can back it up.
He got a big ego. Well, actually,
You
no,
love when we do our little sing-alongs.
No, Kanye wrote that song. Oh wait, no, he either wrote Ego or part. No, I think it was Party. No wait.
Why are they singing songs from girls' perspective? That's weird as heck.
I saw something very similar. It was Neo wrote Miss Independent.
Playboy Carti wrote Act Up,
What's that up?
the Seagull song.
Oh, you told me about this and I don't know.
He wrote Act Up.
No, what song to the left?
Irreplaceable.
Yeah, Neo wrote
Yeah,
Irreplaceable.
but you could write that about a woman easy. Then
No,
just change the words.
Yeah, so he wrote it. He wrote it about a woman, but he was like, oh, when they recorded it, he realized it sounded a bit odd.
I
Talking about
hate women.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like sounds a bit anti-woman to me. So let's give this a female singer.
I would love a song about a woman where it's like I could have another you
In a minute. That's what I said.
What the hell?
I could have another you in a minute. Wait, she's right here. Wait, how's it go?
She'll be. In fact,
she'll be here in a minute, baby.
You must not
know about me. You must not know about me. That's such a really that's a terrible song.
Sassy.
It's so sassy.
If a man said that to you, you'd be like, excuse me. Don't you ever for a second get you thinking
you're irreplaceable. Oh no, thank God he changed it because he was like, after writing it, I realised it ain't sounding good. But then you look at Neo's history and you're like, he could write Irreplaceable.
He loved to sing songs like that.
He could easily write Irreplaceable white women.
Sick.
Yeah, so sick of love song. So sad. Where's Neo, man?
Imagine his business with his big ass.
Oh my goodness. Do you know, it took me a very long time to realize about the head thing.
Like, speak out.
Is that the hat thing?
I love the idea that he came into the record label and they were like, you need a hat.
Yeah.
You need a hat. You can't be going out just like this,
Wait,
baby.
I've never seen Neo without.
Yeah, because the record label said
No.
It's illegal for you to take a picture of him.
No, but
without
I mean,
that hat
I've
on.
never seen him with hair.
He's always been bald.
Yeah.
He's 72.
He's. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, 72 Vanessa.
I'm so done. But we're gonna move
about
on
this?
from
Oh,
what
because the episode was too wide. It's
too
long.
big.
It's too big. It won't fit. What even is the order? We need to find the order.
I don't think I even want to know the order. Basically, I think you can just do the maths. Like, it's too wide. Like, if Beyonce is in the throes of passion, what are the big barriers? It's too hard.
That's not what she said, surely.
Too wide.
It's too wide. It's too long. It's too big.
Thick. And it won't fit.
It
Won't fit will be the last one. Also, but unless... Oh, wait. Look, this is not...
plank of wood.
Yeah,
is
we're
what
not...
I imagine he's tried to shove inside of her and she said, listen...
It's too thick.
But
again, we're not going
also,
to...
I'm not singing that to you. That is
No.
me. Like, call the police!
Yeah!
Call an ambulance! Blood
This
everywhere!
is a PG-13 podcast. We are not going to be going into much detail about Beyonce. But she's done a lot of songs where she talks about Jay-Z.
She says, "Ooh, my baby's sexy." When we say "boo,"
Yeah.
I don't really hear that.
Does she do a similar song in like Renaissance or like anything like sexual?
Ain't no man like you. That ain't see one of kids like you. No, the Destiny's Child song. Game over. Oh, you don't really like the girls.
Excuse me. No, I
You
like.
really like the girls.
What do you mean I don't
That
like the
song
girls?
must be about Jay-Z. Ooh, my man, he does whatever it takes to satisfy me. That's
No.
Michelle's bit.
No, I don't remember that at all.
I love that.
That sounded really
Destiny
nice.
Fulfilled is the
Yeah, Destiny Fulfilled is a great
top
album. It's a great album. It's a great album.
T-shirt.
I remember
Girl,
when they have
you know
yeah,
what
girl,
I mean?
girl.
Yeah.
I remember when they have the hats in the album cover. No, maybe that's the single cover. That's the one I had. I bought us the single.
The Destiny Fulfilled, they wear white, I feel like. chiffony things.
When is what's the one where they all when there's like really fedora hats? Anywho,
nasty girl.
Nasty, put some clothes on. I told you. Don't what? Actually, don't what?
A very anti-misogynistic song for them to sing about the girlies.
Yeah, but really, some of these girlies out there, no, I'm joking. Couldn't even finish.
We can't open this show. We've never been able to open this show.
No, not at all.
That is appropriate to.
I mean, I tried to. I was like, we're talking about Black Mirror Part 2. Let's go. Anyway, throughout the month of July, we are doing minisodes of some of our faves that we are watching. We're not going to be talking about too much about pop culture news, but I think we've given you some pop culture already.
I feel like you didn't ask for. And we'll see you at Carnival.
But we're now going to continue on with our review for Black Mirror Series 6. Let's do it.
I'll be on the Black Mirror float. Paapa my pussy to Sanjay. Paapa my pussy to the Demon 79 to Pony Am on the Black Mirror float.
So, can we not do this?
No. Let's get to the reviews.
Third episode, third film, was called Beyond the Sea.
When I tell you, I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. It's very... The entire history of you is very White Christmas, if you've seen that episode.
I haven't seen that.
Basically, to me, Black Mirror really flourishes when it takes tech. Oh, Be Right Back. So my favourite episode of Black Mirror is called Be Right Back.
Yeah.
Donald Gleeson's in it, and Haley Atwell. Donald Gleeson is perfect. He's the most handsome man I've ever seen in my life.
I want to hear. I'm going to just Google him.
Haley Atwell is married to Donald Gleeson. He is...
For real.
He's my type.
I
don't know what to tell you. He's my type.
This guy.
He's my type.
He looks like he can play...
I don't know what to tell you.
Van Gogh.
I don't know what to tell you.
He can play Van Gogh in the movie.
I don't know what to tell you. Can we move on?
Chop his ear off and you'd be
I don't know what to tell you. Can we move on? I'm not going to explain myself to you. Donald Gleeson plays... And Haley Atwell are husband and wife.
Okay.
At the top of the episode, they've just moved house.
Yeah.
He's going back to return the van that they used to move stuff into the house.
Yeah.
Gets into a car accident and he dies. Haley Atwell is grieving.
Yeah.
A friend of hers tells her about this app where you can upload your partner's messages.
Yeah.
And the app will message you like your partner.
Yeah.
Then the app goes a step beyond. It says, send us videos of your partner and you can call and speak to him.
Yeah.
And then the app goes a bit further and it says, we can make a robot of your partner.
Yeah.
So Haley Atwell agrees to this.
Yeah.
Puts the robot in the bath and down comes her husband.
Yeah.
Everything seems good at first. They make love. It's brilliant. It's incredible. But he is not her husband. He is a robot.
Oh, yeah.
And she slowly starts to feel like, there are issues in how he's not human.
Yeah.
And at one point, at the climax of the episode, they go to a cliff and she says, jump off this cliff. And he says, if that's what you want me to do, I will jump off this cliff. And she was like, you don't get it. My husband would never say that.
Yeah.
He would never do that. And she's like, okay, so you don't want me to jump off the cliff. And she's like, I want you to be him, but you're not him. And it's really heartbreaking, actually, because it's like, grief is really mourning the loss of someone.
Yeah.
And I guess no one's properly explored this idea where the person's not really gone.
Yeah. Where
you can message them or call them or have them in your house. Eventually she decides to put the robot away. Oh, sorry, during this she's realised she's pregnant as well.
Yeah.
She has the baby and the final scenes of the episode are on the dad's birthday.
Yeah.
They will go up to the attic and see the robot. But he just lives in the robot. He does. The robot just lives in the attic and he doesn't come down.
Yeah.
And it's just one of my favourite episodes. I think, one, because I just think Donald Gleeson's performance as the husband and then the robot version of the husband is so... It feels like two different people. Kathy Atwell's really good in it as well. They're just two very talented actors, and it's just such a heartbreaking story. And it, to me, signifies a real strand of Black Mirror, which is like tech plus an emotional... but tech plus a relationship equals ... which is what an Complete History of You is. It's what San Junipero is. It's what that dating algorithm one is. It's kind of what Striking Vipers is to an extent. Like, I think for me, Black Mirror really flourishes when it takes that very human experience of a relationship and goes, what does this tech do to it?
Yeah.
So I say all this to say, that's one of my favourite episodes, and it's specifically about a robot.
Yeah.
And then we come to Beyond the
Sea. Yeah.
And we are immediately thrust into a world where, like, they don't even try and set it up at all. Like, it took me a while to catch up.
They were in, I think it started in space.
Yeah, so there are two men who are astronauts.
Played by Aaron Paul and Josh Hartnett.
And while they are in space, they have, I guess, allowed NASA or someone to create robot versions of them.
Yeah, replicants,
when they're asleep, when they enter this sort of sleep pod on the rocket, they are able to access the robots on Earth and be with their families.
Yeah.
So we meet them when Josh Hartnett's family are going to cinema for the first time.
Yeah.
And they're not for the first time, they're going to cinema.
Yeah.
When they leave the cinema, someone comes up to him and it's like, oh, are you blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yes. And he's like, wow, can I touch you? And I'm watching it and be like, this is really weird. And then slowly realising, like, oh, maybe there's something about him. He's an alien or he's not human. And what you realise is that he's a robot. Yeah. And I think people know about it. Yeah. Across the US as a phenomenon, but like I don't think people know in terms of like, and this is his name, this is where he lives. Yeah. Anyway, he gets a signal from the ship, so he has to go back up to he has to sort of log off of the robot, go up to space. Yeah. Then when he's done with his spaceship, he logs back into the robot, and they are in their house, and an intruder enters, and the intruder is like reminiscent of I'm going to forget his name now. Sharon Tate, Helter Skelter, what were they called? Charlie Manson. The Manson Murders. That's it. Look at me. I got there at the end.
360, yeah.
Charles Manson type murderers where this like hippie group are invading their house and they feel that it is immoral and wrong for a robot to be living with a woman. Yeah. And so they decide to kill the quote-unquote robot's family, which is in fact the real astronaut's family, and then kill the robot while the astronaut is watching because he's logged into the robot. Yeah. And it's very visceral and dark. Yeah. And he can't do anything about it because he's trapped in space.
Yeah. That's Josh Hartnett's
character. So, Aaron Paul's character in space finds out. Well, he finds out about this, and Josh Hartnett's character is distraught.
Absolutely, broken down.
And Aaron Paul speaks to his wife and is like, perhaps we should let him come down here by using my robot to like experience Earth again, because I just think he's so sad and lonely. Yeah. So as we go into this, I'm like, this will end badly.
Oh yeah, 100%.
End badly.
So yeah, I think
like it's that perfect example of like positive human nature meeting negative human nature in that like I'm going to want to keep coming down here. Yeah. That's what I'm gonna want.
Yeah, I'm gonna escape, and also like Kate Mara plays Aaron Paul's wife, and she's just kind of like hinted at, to represent this kind of normal life and her Aaron Paul and the son face, even though we know there's some practice in their marriage. But that's kind of it. But then I already sussed that something odd may happen when Aaron Paul asks Kate whether... Sorry, they have character names, but we're going to go with their celebrity names. Aaron Paul asks Kate whether...
They've got celebrity names. It's their actual names.
Yeah. Aaron Paul asks Kate, can he come down? And she's like, I'm not too sure, but, maybe it's a good idea. Maybe it's fine.
So, prior to that, Aaron and Kate Mara live in like the opposite of what Josh Hartnett's family live in. Like it's quite cold. They live in the countryside in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
They don't have any friends really.
Yeah.
It's not very affectionate, and I couldn't work out if, like, thinking back after the episode ended, whether it's because he was the robot and he didn't want to touch his wife as a robot or what. But he beats his son in like the first 5 minutes of the episode. And the vibes were like...
It was off.
It just wasn't very nice. So he lets Josh Hartnett use his avatar. Shouldn't call it an avatar for now because I don't like saying robot.
They call it replicant.
Replicant.
Yeah.
I'm not saying avatar. Replicant's too many syllables.
Replicant.
Replicant. Yeah. To come down and be outside, and he breaks down about the death of his wife and his children, and Kate Mara comforts him, and you get the first instance of like a woman who up until this point we've judged as cold. It's like, well, her husband is cold, that's why she's cold. She's not actually cold. And also there's like a hint before that like something happened where they used to live, and that's why they live here, in terms of Kate Mara's character maybe cheating on Aaron Paul. I couldn't put my finger on it, but there was just an energy of like, and perhaps it's later on when Josh Hartnett's like, you know, she's lonely, she's a seagull, and dragged her out into the middle of nowhere, that made it feel like there was a reason why they're at that place, and it's not just because they like the scenery. Yeah,
maybe, because I mean they live in this like barn in the middle of nowhere, so yeah.
So yes, as we have already alluded to, Josh Hartnett's character comes down quite a few times, because he is now painting So after the first visit, he has a sketchbook on the spaceship, and he is drawing. He draws their house from memory.
Yeah.
And he says it'd be great to go down and paint your house. And so Aaron Paul says, I'll give you permission to go down and paint my house. So they're now taking it in turns to use the replica.
Yeah. But when Josh Hartnett's character is in the Aaron Paul's replicant, he's not allowed to really go outside. They kind of want to avoid him being in public.
I didn't get the impression that they were trying to avoid it. I thought they were just like the focus is Aaron Paul's character. Is painting.
Yeah, it's painting.
So there's no reason to really go out, is there?
But then there was one time when he wanted to go out and he's like, oh, can I just walk around? And there's a hesitancy to it. And then she's like, okay, it's fine. And I think he drives the car.
Yeah, it's where they go to get... Well, she reads, and Aaron Paul's character doesn't read. Yeah. And so it's Josh Hartnett in Aaron Paul's replicant who tells her some book recommendations and says, why don't we go to the bookshop to get them?
Yeah. I'm telling you, this... And no, it's definitely unrelated, but the whole idea of, like, Journey's Awful, where you have Annie Murphy and Salma Hayek playing the same person, is this weird connection with Aaron Paul and Josh Hartnett playing the same person. Really good so it's a very funny
my sister's review was, you can't even tell he's playing two different people. No, not that. She says, it's crazy. You forget that he's one person playing two different people. That's the way that way around. But basically, Josh Hartnett's character starts to develop a sort of crush on Aaron Paul's wife, Kate Mara.
I mean, we're not surprised. We knew it was going to happen.
I feel like what they keep in a quite dubious area is whether or not they ever did anything.
Yeah.
So, because Josh Hartnett has drawn a picture of their house from memory, later on Aaron Paul looks through his sketchbook and he's drawn a bunch of naked pictures of Aaron Paul's wife.
Yeah.
And Aaron Paul's like, well, he draws stuff from memory, so he must have seen you naked.
Yeah.
Kate Mara's like, I never did anything with this dude, I would never do that to you, but equally I am really lonely, like he said to you, because basically they have an argument in space where he says, you know, take care of your wife, if I took care of her, she'd be really happy, blah, blah, whatever. So, Aaron Paul and Kate Mara basically ask Josh Hartnett in no uncertain terms not to come back down there.
Yeah.
And so one day, Aaron Paul's called back up to the spaceship. Yeah. Unexpectedly, there is a leak or something outside. He goes outside to look at it and there's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
He's like, right, what's going on? Messages Josh Hartnett inside of the rocket. He's not saying anything.
Yeah.
Beeps him a couple of times. Then eventually Josh Hartnett's like, okay, come back in.
Yeah.
Or not even that. Maybe he just comes back in by himself. He meets Josh Hartnett. He's like, where are you? And he's like, oh, nowhere.
I'll be honest,
but he has Aaron Paul's dog tags. And we should have said this before, but the dog tags is how they access their replicants.
Yeah.
So Aaron Paul's like, what did you do?
Yeah.
And Josh Hartnett's just sort of like coy about it. So he hops in his sleep pod, goes into his replicant and sees that his entire family has been slaughtered.
Yeah.
Much like Josh Hartnett's family was slaughtered, only it was technically by his own hand.
Yeah.
Through Josh Hartnett.
I'll be honest, when Aaron Paul was stuck outside in the space, and he was just hovering, going, "I'm trying to get back in."
I thought he was going to leave him out there.
I thought he was going to leave him out there, and that's when my
anxiety.
I was like, there was anxiety and like the fear of like, oh my goodness, what's going to happen? That started to really rise, and then when we saw the slaughtering, that's the jump scare that I had, and when I watched it, I was like. And I was doing work and I had to stop working, like, and that was my jump scare. This? Yeah, that was my jump scare.
I will say this, and like obviously having watched Breaking Bad, I know that Aaron Paul is incredibly talented, but that sort of like I knew we wouldn't see the bodies, and so like your task then as an actor is to play on your face
the reaction,
everything that we think you're seeing, and even before that, when he's like to her, when he's like. Expressing his fear that she may have slept with Josh Hartnett's character. It's so like measured, and he's just such a brilliant actor, and I honestly just felt like heartbroken for him. I just also couldn't get back. Like, why would you do that? This just happened to you, and it sucks. Why would you do that to another person?
I think because for me there was two things. One, I completely agree. Aaron Paul. I mean, both of them were really good, but Aaron Paul stole the show for me. But that being said, he was in like 75% of the show because because his replica was in the show. But I think he's a great actor. And Josh Hartnett, I've said it before, I thought Josh Hartnett looked great. I mean, he's aged, but he looked great. And the second thing I was going to say was, I think when I saw that scene and you saw the blood on the wall, I think you got the elements that Josh Hartnett wanted Aaron Paul to himself. Not in a like romantic Brokeback Mountain type of way, but like in a sense that I want you to feel the loneliness that I feel. And I was trying to take that privilege away from him. Like, oh, you have the privilege of having a wife and kids and you can use your dog tag and go downstairs.
Go downstairs. No, but that's really what it's like.
Go down to earth and, experience a life. And now you're cutting that away from me when that was my only source of solace. However, Josh Hartnett took the piss and it took advantage of it and slept with the wife. That being said, Kate Mara, should have done it.
Did he sleep with her, or was he just pulling from his desires to sleep with her? That was my thing. I got the impression that it was that he did not sleep with his wife. He wanted to sleep with his wife. Because why do we have that scene where he tries to kiss her and she's like, what are you doing? If they fucked each other.
Well, you mean Josh or Aaron?
Josh Hartnett.
But what? Oh, yeah, but...
They haven't slept together. I think he really liked Kate Mara and had been dreaming about her.
Maybe, but I felt like, didn't they kiss at one point and then she pushes him away and it's like, oh no, we shouldn't be doing this.
No, he tries to kiss her. They don't even kiss. He tries to kiss her. She's like, you're not my husband.
Yeah.
And he's like, you've wanted this the whole time. She's like, no, I didn't.
Oh, this is actually really messed up. And I feel, if I had to rewatch anyone, it would be this one. But that being said, Beyond the Sea was the longest episode out of the whole season.
Yeah, it was like an hour and 15.
It was its own little movie in a sense. But yeah, I don't know. I
just thought it was just so heartbreaking and dark. And honestly, I want to say shout out to Rory Culkin.
Was he in it?
Yeah, he was the guy who killed the family. He was one of the sort of Charlie Manson character. I thought they would come back. So I thought what would happen is... because there's a point when they go to the bookstore, the woman asks, oh, are you one of the replicants? And you're living that... She was asking all these details and I was like, this is how they found them the first time. Yeah. And you've just got into town and told them your exact address and we're going to be minding our own business and then here comes Rory Culkin killing everybody.
Wait, how did we not know that it wasn't the Culkin?
We don't. I mean, because... I think the reason why we know is because... I was going to say Kit Harington, what's his name?
Josh Hartnett.
Josh Hartnett's like, sorry, you can't see all my face, but he looks so smug when he comes back upstairs. He's like, and now it's just me and you, baby.
Yeah, that was
my hand, baby.
That was just messed up because it was like, if I'm
he pushes out a chair for him, doesn't he?
Yeah. It's
and it's
messed
like,
up.
why have you punished Aaron? What did Aaron Paul do?
Aaron Paul,
Other than like not love his wife the way that you would love yours.
Aaron Paul reached out and hand and said, "Come and." He reached out his dog tag and said, "Come and join."
What I think is really interesting is like before the deaths, when you looked at the two of them's lives, I'd much rather be Josh Hartnett's wife than Aaron Paul's wife. There's something off about him.
Yeah.
And his righteousness of being, not righteousness maybe isn't the right word, but like desire to be good and be like, you can come down and see, it's not, I don't know, it's goodness for the sake of goodness. I didn't get the impression that he cared about Josh Hartnett's character more than he was just like, oh, his family died and that's sad.
It was a nice thing to do. It was like a charity aspect. It's like the whole selfless good deed, but I don't know. I
definitely didn't deserve to have his family.
No, he didn't. And I think that's why
Kate Mara didn't deserve to die.
No, that's why I felt sorry for him, because I was like, even if deep down in his heart it wasn't like the most heartfelt thing, that him offering his replicant to Josh wasn't authentic, but it still was a gesture, and it still was a kind gesture, and he's the one who brought it up to Kate. And was like, look, I'm sorry, all these people have real names in the show, but forget it. But I just felt like, I felt like it was sad in that aspect, and it also didn't feel right that these two characters now have to live alone in space. And what's the point? Their replicants are now useless, because if Aaron Paul goes down in his replicant, he's gonna be accused of. Oh wait, maybe he won't be accused of murdering.
No, he has to be. That's what I thought was really interesting. It's
why couldn't they could say that? Oh, we've seen something similar with Josh Hartnett's.
But Josh Hartnett didn't kill his replicant. He was tied up. Aaron Paul's replicant is not tied up. He's walking around the house. And he's covered in blood when he comes into the replica.
Oh, okay.
The first thing he notices is he comes into his replicant and he's covered in blood. There's blood all over the wall. They've made a real... Josh Hartnett's made a real statement of killing his family.
it was bloody.
And I think on purpose, so that his replicant will get removed and the two of them will be stuck on space together.
It's
because
really
what he's jealous of is the fact that you get somewhere to go to. I don't.
Well, that means they're going to be in space forever. It's a real telling episode. And the one thing about Black Mirror is like, there's few shows that really allow you to think more about like what could happen after this. Like you have so many different theories as to what is next.
Yeah. And
we're probably not going to get a resolution to this. Again, this has been an anthology. We're not going to get like a part 2. Yeah, that is all.
What would you give this episode?
Definitely is up there with one of the strongest for the season. I'm going to give this a 3.
Strongest for the season, no, 3. What are you talking about?
I was going to say 3.5. It's one of the strongest.
There's literally 5 episodes, so you can rank them 1 out of 5, 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5.
Yeah,
I'll
give it 3.
You're giving this 3, but it's one of the strongest.
Yeah, because I've got 3 strong ones, and I'm going to give this 3 out of 5 because I don't think it's as strong as Joan is Awful, and it's not going to be as strong as the next one. Not the one I'm going to give the same rating as Joan is Awful.
I'm going to give this episode a 5.
What?
I've been conflicted, but in terms of like the episode that I know that I'll have to go back and rewatch, as in like I think this has a lot of wear and tear.
Yeah.
Is this episode. My other favourite episode, which is going to come in as right underneath this, I really enjoyed, but I don't think I need to watch again. I think I got it the first time round. Whereas this, I feel like, I bet you I'll watch it the second time and be like, there was so many little hidden hints and suggestions throughout that like I missed the first time round. Yeah. So I think Aaron Paul, for me, a dramatic episode or emotional episode of Black Mirror trumps a fun one.
Really?
Yeah, it does.
I think because I'm so used to watching some of the more fun satirical episodes of Black Mirror, I tune in and more engaged with the fun versus the drama.
The fun ones are great. Black Mirror to me is a great show. Yeah. Like, the fun ones are great, but the serious ones, I think, the ones where you're like quiet after, you're not just like, let me quickly Google. Yeah. They're just like, damn.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would do in this situation.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Because I know for a fact, if I was Aaron Paul's character, I would have said the same thing. Use my replicant. Go down, like it's your trapped on this train and this plane, and what? But honestly, my fear the whole time was that he would kill Aaron Paul. That's what I thought was going to happen in space. One time he's going to be in his replicant and he's just going to be choked out. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. Because this man is unhinged.
Yeah.
Understandably.
And I think that's what, I mean, even though we've really praised Aaron Paul's performance, I do think Josh Hartnett gave this kind of almost like suave.
Oh yeah,
It doesn't meet the eye. Not everything seems 100% right, but he has this charm about him that can fool you.
It's really interesting because actually Josh Hartnett feels like more of a robot.
Yeah.
Than Aaron Paul's robot feels like a robot. Yeah. But it's, what I think is interesting about that is that when you meet the character, he's not different from that. There's something about him that's kind of cold and practiced. Yeah. And immediately going after his wife feels in keeping with this character who's cold and practiced and like likes to fuck around. And it's like that's somebody's wife. Yeah. It's not just a random girly. Yeah. Okay, have some decorum. Yeah.
But Josh Hartnett or Aaron Paul while we're here.
Oh.
I'm going to see Josh Hartnett, I'm sorry.
Josh Hartnett's body, yeah.
Yeah. Face, yeah.
I'm not feeling their face if I'm going to be
I mean, he's
honest.
aged, but
I never really... Listen, I remember a friend of mine when I was at school was obsessed with Josh Hartnett. We had to go to a play that he was at so he could sign. We didn't even watch the play.
The thing is, the joke is I know which play you're talking about.
We didn't even watch the play, but she just wouldn't stop. And I was like, this guy's not hot. This guy is not sexy. He wasn't sexy then. And to me right now, he's not sexy.
No, I don't think...
Like, his body slaps.
Yeah, oh God. There's a scene in the trailer where, like, Josh Hartnett
just... pretty. I told you, I like pretty boys. I don't like these, like, squinty eyes. No, I'm not interested in that.
Wait, don't say... Oops.
Oops, what?
I don't know, I feel like to take it back. No, I think he's still attractive.
No, show me the picture right now.
That was the first one. It's not bad. He's married to Tamsin Egerton.
Like, less hot. He weirdly reminds me of Colin Farrell, but I think Colin Farrell was actually hotter than him.
He reminds me of the guy who used to play Smallville.
That guy was really hot.
He was hot, wasn't he?
He was actually hot. He was fucking Superman.
Yeah, it's really hot.
Right, let's go on to the next episode.
Okay, we'll do that.
Well,
but
what's it called?
Next one is called Mazey Day, and this stars Zazie Beats from Atlanta.
Listen, Zazie Beats,
love her.
I love her. Yeah. I do. I genuinely do. She wasn't what was wrong with this episode.
No,
I just think...
I'm keen to get your thoughts. I'll give a quick summary because I've not really been doing any summaries so far. Mazey Day is about a celebrity called Mazey Day, and there's this photographer or paparazzi photographer called Bo, kind of struggling to make ends meet.
She's also really off. Also got to a point where she's actually decided to take a break, remove herself from paparazzi.
Yeah, paparazzi love.
Because she took a photo of a man who then ended up committing suicide.
Yeah, exactly. But she then meets up with one of her photographer friends who says that if you can get a shot of Mazey Day, you can get about 30k.
Yes, because Mazey was in a film, like a blockbuster.
Yeah.
Something has happened on set and she's been sequestered home, but nobody's seen her.
No. And
he thinks it must be some sort of substance abuse thing.
Yeah, and there's a suspect that she's in rehab.
And there is a reward, not a reward, but like the price of this picture is like astronomical. Like if Bo gets a picture of Mazey, she'll be set for a long time anyway, not life, because it's not like 500k or anything like that, but a decent amount of money.
Yeah, and so the series kind of follows her trek to find Mazey Day along with other paparazzi. She does a lot of investigation. She kind of does her own like research into Mazey Day, who talks about her favorite diner, and then she goes to the favorite diner, trying to just get clues and breadcrumbs to find out where Mazey Day is. She does eventually find Mazey Day in this, I want to say it's like a rehab house, a rehabilitation place.
It's called a rehab, but it's this wood cabin in the woods.
Yes.
Wood cabin in the woods.
Yeah.
It's wood cabin in the woods where Mazey is chained to a bed.
Yes.
And they're like, this is messed up. This is like this new age fucking rehab stuff. It's dark. We need to go and set her free.
And actually, throughout the series, there had been some hints that things are not all too well with Mazey. And I think we were assuming that it was like the celebrity lifestyle where she's like trashing a hotel room.
So we get Mazey's POV. And what we learn before we learn she's come off the show is we see her on set. She goes home. She smokes some weed and listens to music and drinks. At some point, she decides to get in her car to go somewhere and hit someone. So that's what we think the secret is that she's hiding from. But once they get to this rehab and set her free, what we realise is that when Mazey hit the person and she got out of her car and went to see them, she suddenly was overwhelmed by this animalistic urge, turned into a wolf and tried to eat the person. Yeah. Or may have eaten the person. Yeah. And the reason why she's at rehab is to try and save her from this werewolf tendency.
It's given me Mr. Jekyll, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type of element. Or what's the other thing where you like Shrek?
Sorry, what?
You know, like Princess Fiona when the dog.
I love how you're naming things that are not werewolf films when there are literally like.
Which ones?
Twilight has werewolves.
I have never watched Twilight.
Twilight has werewolves.
Yeah, but
Harry Potter has werewolves.
No, but I'm talking about the transformation of like human to werewolf.
That's literally in Twilight, and that's literally Harry Potter.
But as I said, two entities that I've never watched in my life.
Werewolves.
Yeah, but either way.
Have you seen a werewolf in London? Have you seen a werewolf in London?
No.
It's like this 80s film about a guy who turns into a werewolf.
I never watched it. It really is giving me Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
Sorry, what is your werewolf culture? Have you ever seen?
I have no werewolf culture. I have no.
So
I didn't know there was a culture around werewolves.
Of course there is.
No, I'm a Christian.
There's vampires as werewolves.
I know. I've got Jesus and the disciples and angels and the Holy Spirit.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah,
and
but.
Okay, go off, sis. Tell me where in the Bible it says watch Dr. Jekyll and Hyde and watch Shrek.
Either way, that was what it was giving me. That.
Anyway, so she turns into a werewolf.
She turns into a werewolf, yeah.
I don't know about werewolf lore enough, but what I have, according to all of the shows and things I've seen, is on a full moon, this person unwittingly turns into a wolf. Yeah. And they possess wolf-like
features, behaviour.
Traits, behaviour when they're a wolf. Yeah. For some reason, it always manifests... Well, in this version, it manifests in the wolf kills everybody. Yeah. But a wolf really don't need to do that. No. Like, a wolf might catch and kill something to eat. Yeah. But it's not in the business of just killing for the sake of killing, like... No. Animals don't really do that. They're not like us, which will be like, kill, 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 kill. They're like, I've got my dinner, I don't need nothing else. But anyway.
One person wasn't enough.
Well, I think it might be the in the werewolf bit, where she's actually aware, you know? She's an werewolf.
I'm so done.
Someone should tell that story.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Where she's actively trying to hunt down these people who've come to, like, take entertainment or sport or make money off her discomfort. And she basically kills everyone one by one, and Bo is the last person to survive. She goes to the diner to hide out.
Oh wait, Danny Ramirez still died as well.
Everybody died.
Oh bruh, yeah.
And I think at the point, I can't remember, but I feel like either the werewolf starts to turn back into a woman. Yeah. And basically says, like, kill me. Yeah. And Zazie Beats' character gives her a gun. Or she's still a werewolf and she says, kill me. But I think she's somewhere in between the two.
I think she was turning into a woman by that point.
So Zazie Beats takes a picture of her.
I have to be honest, iconic. It was
dark.
Very dark. I have to say I loved the scene because it was just,
I was going to say, as a sequence, I really loved... One, I love the diner. I don't know what it is about the diner that's just so... brilliant, but like I really love the sequence in the diner. I liked how it was shot. Whoever directed that episode, I think, did a really good job. Yeah, I think just like, you know, we were talking about this earlier today, because Shoshana had the pleasure of coming into a meeting where we were talking about story, but
it's a development meeting I came and jumped into.
It's very hard for a regular person to sympathise with someone they find morally corrupt. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And people like paparazzi, I don't sympathise with them.
No.
And so I wonder, like, this story only works if you're a paparazzi. Like, the only person who would be like, I must at any cost go into this room and find out what this person is doing would be a paparazzi. But the problem is, them getting murdered, I was like, good. Yeah. I'm on the werewolf side.
I don't think...
Kill.
I don't think I was in the mood where I wanted the paparazzi to die.
That's the moral of the story. Don't go where you're not wanted.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely curiosity did kill the cat,
Literally.
or but I felt like it was an interesting story. It took a long time to get there, and the payoff of showing the werewolf.
One of the shortest episodes of the series.
It is, but like the payoff wasn't like as exciting to me.
It was a very small twist.
Yeah,
as twists go.
And I mean, definitely with the series, and we can talk about it maybe as we're wrapping up our review. But one thing that Charlie Brooker did say about the series is that he really wanted the series to feel like a variety. Like he described it like a chocolate box. And so you have like the satirical tech in terms of Joan Is Awful. You have the true crime in Loch Henry. You have the space sci-fi with Beyond the Sea. You have the paparazzi-esque drama with Mazey Day. But it just really felt like it kind of lived in comparison to the other seasons and the other episodes where you got layers to the story. Whereas in Mazey Day, it was a bit too straightforward for me. And I just... when I saw the werewolf reveal, and we actually just rewatched it just to allow me to see it again, I realised that it just still wasn't that engaging, and it was easy. It was an easy skippable one for me. But I love Zazie Beats.
I love Zazie Beats,
yeah,
and I think she did the best with what she could do with the character. That
I agree.
You're kind of on the fence with. She checks out of that lifestyle, but in the moment still gets the picture of the werewolf.
That's
so it's
true.
like, why, like, somebody's going to want to see this.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing is, if I was almost mutilated, mauled to death by a werewolf, I'm going to take a picture.
Yeah. I want
people to believe me.
Yeah.
I literally got attacked by a werewolf. Do you understand? They're real.
We live in a world where if you don't take a photo of it, did it happen?
Pixar, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
As they say. Also,
I fell into this TikTok account where a guy kind of recaps pictures before a tragedy, and it shows like some really epic photos just before something bad happens, like a guy who's walking on like a tightrope before like a gust of wind blows him away, or like a photo where like there's a selfie of a family and then behind them is a car and in the car is an explosion and bombs the area.
Someone on the way to 9/11.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, there's some of them are really like quite morbid and yeah, and so when you see
this fucking mouse thing, you need to get help.
No. So
this was a mouse.
So please don't do that. Do you want to be invited to my house again? So when the audio.
Gonna ask the listeners if they think that sounds like a mouse.
I'm gonna have to hear that. If it doesn't come through, I'm cutting it out. But what I'm saying is that that moment at the end of the season, when she takes that at the end of the episode, where she takes that photo, it really had that tragedy element to it. But I don't think I cared as much, so that's why I didn't find this episode as engaging.
I will also admit, like, this was an episode where I was going around doing other things.
Yeah,
so, like, it really was just like it didn't hit me in a way where I was like, I need to stop what I'm doing.
It didn't give.
No, it wasn't giving.
Did you watch Beyond the Sea? Did you watch Mazey Day straight after Beyond the Sea?
Yeah.
Okay, same.
Because that was the order that it was in. So
same.
if you don't watch it in that order, you should have mixed it up.
No, I mean, like, did you take a break after Beyond the Sea before you watched Mazey Day?
Ooh.
Because I didn't. I watched it just straight away.
I know I watched Loch Henry and took a break after that.
Okay, interesting.
Watched Mazey. I think I might have watched Mazey Day like half an hour after.
Okay.
Because I was actually trying to spread it out.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I don't want to watch. I don't want to watch the entire season
straight
in one day.
Yeah.
I was having to look forward to tomorrow.
Yeah.
But actually, as the time went on, I was like, I mean, in a harsh, not, and I don't mean this in a harsh way, but like, I need to get these out of the way because I don't want spoilers.
Yeah.
So I need to watch them now.
Yeah, it's one of those hard
things. Someone
things.
said to me, "Have you seen the werewolf one?"
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
I was like, great.
Yeah, I think.
So now I know there's a werewolf one. I actually thought it was going to be Demon 79.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, but it was Mazey Day. But like, still, you don't want to know there's a werewolf episode coming up.
I mean, that was one of the big spoilers where, I could tell in terms of the conversation on social, that's the one that people didn't want to talk about, or that's one that Netflix didn't talk about very much. So that was supposed to be the real surprise, and it was a surprise because I wasn't expecting to see a flipping werewolf on Black Mirror of all people. If it was gonna be a werewolf, I thought it'd be like something robotic. Like I don't know. I just didn't expect to see that because it felt a bit too generic for Black Mirror.
What are you gonna give this episode?
I would give this a 2 out of 5.
This is my 1 out of 5 episode. Like
yeah.
Zazie Beats is the one.
Yeah. Literally.
Like, otherwise I would have been like, okay.
Yeah.
Demon 79.
Demon 79 is the last episode from this season, and
Another long one.
And what's it?
Another long one.
Another long one. But surprisingly, this is the one where the series starts with this little disclaimer or like at the beginning of Demon 79, it starts with Black Mirror presents a Red Mirror film. And this is supposed to be kind of like a little bit of a deviation from what we've known and loved from Black Mirror, going into this Red Mirror world, which I think Charlie Brooker's kind of explained it to be like a bit more horror, definitely less tech, and you kind of really get it from this episode. Demon 79 is about a young girl called Nida. She's a shop assistant in this shoe store, and
young woman. She's not a little girl.
So young woman.
Yeah.
A young woman who is a shop assistant in the shoe store. She hates all her colleagues. They are microaggressions.
No, they are fully racist.
They're racist. Yeah, they're racist.
They tell her she can't eat her lunch at work because it stinks.
Yeah. Neither. They didn't go into loads of detail in terms of her background, but we can assume she's Asian, Indian background potentially. And so one day she's watching like the equivalent of Top of the Pops. And Boney M, Rasputin is playing.
It's like number 1 or whatever.
Yeah, and in the band there is featured this character.
I thought Boney M was the dude.
Yeah, I think it was. Well, they got Paapa to they basically superimposed Paapa to be part of the group.
Yeah.
As they're playing, and she watches them play Rasputin. She kind of thinks nothing of it.
No, they didn't sing that song. They played He was the...
Yeah.
Is that Rasputin?
Yes, Rasputin.
Is it really?
Rasputin. I know it. Rasputin.
What that bit? I know that bit is that song. No, that's the bit that I recognise. What's the verse like? That's a completely different song.
No!
No,
that's not Rasputin.
That's what I was trying to say.
What's it? Okay, let me see the verse.
Let's go. That's not the song. That's not the song. That is the song. No. It might be Rasputin. It might just be the verses. So Paapa Essiedu plays Boney M, the boniest of M's in the band Boney M, and she thinks the band is groovy. That's what the impression I got. She wasn't even so like she's outrageously excited by it. She just liked the song.
Yeah.
One day she goes to work and she writes. So we get to this microaggression about her lunch, and she has to. They basically tell her, "Why don't you eat your lunch in the basement because it's stinky." She says she won't bring in any more curries for lunch, but she has brought one in that day, and they say go in the basement and eat it. So she goes in the basement and she finds these talismans. She picks one up, and she apparently inadvertently has agreed to some sort of deal with her demon.
Yeah.
I thought that was quite unfair. It's like, all she did was pick up the talisman. It's like, well, now you have to help me with this thing or the world will end. It's like, I didn't ask for this. Anyway, so she's picked up this talisman. She takes it home, forgets about it.
Yeah.
Well, she doesn't. No, she picks it up. It starts humming and she drops it.
Yeah.
She goes home, doesn't think any more of it. Before this, though, is it Nida or Nida?
Neither.
Nida has been having fantasies about killing her co-workers.
Yeah.
So that's already just bubbling in the way, which, honestly, I relate. I really relate.
That scene where...
She smashes the
girls in the glass, yeah.
I've been there. But, it feels harmless. I'm not going to do anything. It's fine. Except for she gets home and a voice starts talking to her. And they're like, because you picked up the talisman, you've agreed to kill 3 sacrifices so that I don't end the world.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm going crazy, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And then a demon appears in its true form, which is this like grotesque thing. We don't even really properly get to see, which it's very clever. Don't show it to us, we just see it off the person's face. And he's like, oh, sorry, I didn't realise I'm probably quite hard to look at. And then transforms himself into Boney M. We need to find out if that man's name is actually Boney M. I'm sorry, it is.
As you're talking, I'm going to check now.
Who's played by Paapa, and she, he's like, yeah, so you've summoned me by touching the talisman, and you've got to kill 3 people, otherwise your world's going to end. Sorry, I can't help you. This is a big deal for me, though. It's also my initiation into demon school, so, like, the quicker you do this, the quicker I get to go about my business. This is all good. And I'll help you pick people. We'll just pick people who deserve to, like, super easy, don't be a drama queen. She's freaking out, she's trying to run away, she's trying to do this stuff. Eventually she realises this is real. What's happening.
Because he clicks and you see the world ending and everything in fire.
Which she is not happy about. Me personally, I hate to say it.
Nah.
Do the world ending.
I mean,
end it!
As a Christian watching Demon 79, I was there praying. Let's have a little prayer before watching.
Me personally, end it.
Also,
I'm not doing any work to say, I don't like this world. Kill it!
Can I just flag, there's no one on Boney M called Boney.
What's his name?
There's Bobby.
Boney.
Liz.
Boney.
Frank.
Boney.
Marcia.
Boney.
Maisie Williams.
That's the M. Those are the 2 M's in Boney M.
Reggie and Shayla.
There's not even that many people in the
There's
band.
not, and they're not related, and I don't know
if they swap them out.
Yeah,
There's
maybe.
no way all of them was in the band at the same time.
They were German Caribbean. Interesting. I mean, one white guy.
Like Milli Vanilli.
We know what happened to Milli Vanilli. But these guys, Boney M, their mics are on, okay?
I cannot wait for the Milli Vanilli series. Me personally, I would have done it.
Is it actually a series?
It has to be.
I mean, it's been how many years?
Well, I had the actual guy from Milli Vanilli, the one who didn't die. One of them died.
Oh, yeah.
The other one has been talking about adapting his own story. That's the problem. Yeah. Is that you want to tell the story, but you don't want them to adapt it.
No, unfortunately, you have to relinquish, or they'll do it after you die.
Well, we'll just tell the story without your cosign, which people don't really want to do. You want to get the artist cosign on something. But anyway. Yeah. So, she kills the first person, who is this, like, creepy dude who came into the department store at one point.
Yeah, with a pedo.
Yeah, basically the demon's like, yeah, so this guy has been molesting his daughter, and his daughter's going to kill herself when she's 29 as a result. If you don't kill him now, and save her from years of torture, so she kills him.
It's one of those hard things because I wasn't sure. I believed the demon den about it.
The question is, do you believe him?
But there was other occasions where he was giving backstory, and I was just feeling like, is he trying to paint this character of the person that she potentially may kill in a negative light so that she will just kill him or kill her, versus the person is bad, but also, again, who are we to be doing an eye for an eye, a tooth for a teeth, a life for a life?
Old Testament. This is the Old Testament.
It's Old Testament, and also it's given me like all these morality questions, because that's a question around like death sentences and things like that. But that's not for today's episode.
The second person she kills is a local guy who also comes into the store, who everybody knows killed his wife, but somehow managed to get away with it.
Yeah.
And so, in order to get him, she has to go to the local pub. Well, actually, no, she goes to the local pub because she's like, I can't kill people. I need some Dutch courage. Yeah. Because she has a deadline as well. She has to kill somebody every day by 12 o'clock at midnight. So she's gone to the pub for Dutch courage, orders a triple scotch. Which I was like, were they serving triples back in the fucking 80s?
Triple scotch of all things, yeah.
Mad.
That being said, they're in the north, so yeah.
Mad.
I went to university in the north. It used to be triple vodkas, it was, and they were cheap.
Again, there's a lot of microaggressions at this pub. In the background, politically, there is a candidate who's basically the equivalent of that guy. What's his name? Enoch Powell. That's Enoch Powell, who was like, if we don't do something about the immigrants, the streets will run red with white people blood. Yeah. Sorry, English blood. It's like white people blood. Is that? I don't think he said it like that. I feel like it was a bit more eloquent than that, but basically that's what he was trying to say. He flopped hard. We're here. What are you gonna do? He'll be turning in his grave if you saw how many of us there was in this country. He's throwing up and crying. So that's going on in the background. Yeah. And the pub has like people with the same. There's just a lot of energy of like, we don't want to turn into Barnsley or wherever else the other places, Whitstable, wherever it is, like just random places in the UK that have been apparently overrun by foreigners.
Yeah, please.
And so, that local man has killed his wife.
Yeah.
She meets him again at the pub, and at the store, it had been implied that he likes her sort.
Yeah.
Is what her shitty co-worker said. So she goes up to him and he's like, hey, do you want to come home with me? And she's like, yes. And he's like, brilliant. Doesn't ask any more questions. Takes her to his actual house where he lives. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm just going to go in the bathroom really quickly to wash his balls, which honestly, again, straight culture is hell. What do you mean? I've come to your house, it's filthy, and you haven't cleaned your genitals. Today is the day you're going to do it.
Oh my God.
Anyway, the whole time he's in the bathroom, she's like psyching herself up. She's like, got her little hammer out.
She was going to do it with a hammer, wasn't she?
Yeah. The demon's like, yeah, you can do this. Yeah, you can do this. Like, egging her on. Like, he's a prick. He deserves it. Anyway, calms out, and she just lifts up the hammer, and he sees.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I always knew this day would come. And just sort of sits there and like lets her kill him. So she does.
No, but it doesn't happen straight away because doesn't he?
No, she has to hit him a couple of times.
Oh yeah, and then
she goes downstairs.
She goes downstairs, and then there's someone
brother
is coming in.
Yeah. So she kills him upstairs, and they're like, "Yay, we did it!" As they're leaving, she's at like the top of the stairs, holding the hammer, walking out. And his brother comes in, and he's like, "Please don't hurt me."
Yeah.
And the demon's like, "Oh, he's seen you. You're gonna have to kill him
too."
So they have this really like awful exchange where, you know, she's like, okay, I gotta kill him, and he's like, please don't kill me, and then they have this scuffle over the hammer. You think, oh my god, she's gonna get killed.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think weirdly the demon helps her. Something pulls his feet from under him. Yeah. Conveniently at the point where she can get the better of him, and she has to smash his head in. And they go back, and she feels awful. She feels terrible. She asks, well, not even she asked. The demon's like,
are we done now, basically?
No, he says, don't think about this too much, but he was actually a good person that you killed. Sorry.
Oh, that was...
Because everybody else has kind of been deserving of it. Like, that guy killed his wife, the other guy's a pedo. This guy's kind of like a good guy. And so she feels awful. Yeah. But he's like, look at this way, you killed 3 people. Which is like, what you were supposed to do, baby, will be done. So they try and log the death. Doesn't go through. He's got to call the underworld. And he's like on the phone, just as if you would be to customer service, just being like, right, yeah, so we've killed 3 people, but it's only coming up as 2. Okay, yeah. I mean, it doesn't seem fair, does it? Anyway, he's going back and forth, and you, as the audience, realise that he's going to come back and be like, so, there is an issue, and we've got to start from scratch. Is what I thought was going to happen, but actually, it turns out that the guy that she killed, the man who killed his wife, doesn't count because he wanted to die.
Oh yeah, so basically what I thought was going to end up happening was like, oh, because you killed more than one person in the 24 hours, you have to kill someone else to match up with the time. So I thought that's what I thought the issue was going to be.
They're not counting people who were as all one of their own. Yeah. So because he had accepted, like, I killed my wife. Yeah. I'm that guy. He didn't count as a kill. So they were only counting the brother, which means she still had to kill someone the next day. So the next day they're like, right, we're going to kill your co-worker, she deserves it. And this Enoch Powell parody comes in, and she decides, no, I'm going to kill him. Yeah. And the vibes are so weird because I couldn't work out if this was a fantasy that he was showing her a war. But there is a moment when the Enoch Powell guy talks to her colleague, and she's like, I'm not going to vote for you, I'm going to vote for the National Front. Yeah. And he's like, look at me, you are going to vote for me. I'm the person worthy of your votes, blah, blah. And he almost like he puts a spell on her. Yeah. So I was like, oh, is he already a demon? So is that going to be the issue, that she's going to be like, I want to kill him, and then the Boney M's going to be like, you can't kill him because he's already a demon.
When I watched that, I never saw that in that way.
I mean, it's a really weird exchange. I didn't get it.
It's a weird exchange, right? But I just thought he was just quite, he's a politician that was trying to, get his own way. But I never
Does that
stored
ever
that.
happen to you that somebody said something and you change your entire political landscape?
No, of course not. But I didn't think that there was more than one demon on set.
Someone is apparently summoning demons in their basement, so there has to be more than one demon on set.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, her and the demon fall out because he's like, why don't you just kill your fucking colleague? And she's like, no, I want to kill this dude. And I thought the reason why he was trying to really dissuade her was because he was one of theirs. Because, like, you can't kill him because this won't count, and also that's not what I've been sent here to do.
Yeah.
Anyway, she chases him down in a car. At the same time, the police have been investigating the 2 murders that have already happened.
Yeah.
And immediately are like, is this woman?
Yeah, because
like, okay.
also, like, there's not many Indian women that walked into that pub, drank some alcohol. The landlady and the pub owners identified her straight away being quite odd and suspicious because she looked out of place.
Never been in there before.
Yeah. And so that people were already on her tail that she may be the murderer.
I just want to say a bit that I really enjoyed that is completely ineffective to the plot, but there's a coat that there's an outfit on a mannequin in the middle of the store that she's looking at early on in the episode, and her shitty co-worker's like, you can never pull that off. And then the day that she decides to kill the politician, she also basically quits her job and buys, I thought the entire outfit, no, just the leather jacket. Where's the rest of her uniform home? But I was like, damn, she's wearing the shit out of that leather jacket. And she's got like a red leather jacket and a red little car. And I was like, this is fun. Yeah. I like that. And, just to say, Boney M is wearing his Boney M outfit throughout this episode.
Yeah.
So to just really think of the most Boney M outfit you can think of, that's what he's wearing.
Oh my lord.
So she follows the politician, tracks him down, tries to kill him. The police officer tracks her down, is like, no, you can't kill him, and arrests her. She gets to jail now, and she's like, oh, a demon told me to, and just recites the story as is. If I don't kill someone, because she was like screaming, let me kill him, and then obviously the police officer's like, I'm not going to do that. Yeah. At the stage, she's trying to explain, if I don't kill him, the entire world's going to end. And they're both like, honey, you're delusional. You're fucking crazy, babe. And let her tell her little story, but they don't believe her. Yeah. And it gets to like midnight, and she's like shaking and throwing up in this interrogation room, being like, you guys have fucked it. You're gonna ruin the planet. Like, we're all gonna die. And nothing happens. Yeah. So you're like, oh no, she's just crazy.
Honestly, that's when the clock strikes, and I was like, oh, this is all a farce. It was all a
fantasy.
All it honestly was. I was expecting her to wake up out of a dream and be like, it was only just a dream, but she's like in prison. Yeah.
So I was so sad at that point. I said, damn, we just watched a delusional woman be delusional for an hour and been like, yeah, you could do it, babe. And then they leave the room to go and talk about her outside. And who shows up but Boney M? And I thought, a figment of your imagination. Yeah. Damn, a figment of your imagination. But he's like, so we didn't complete the task, and I've been cast out. Oh, he tells her this before though, when she's like, I don't want to kill any other people. He's like, listen, if we don't do this, I'll be cast out of hell into the abyss, and I don't want to do that. It's dark and scurry. Yeah. So she found, he's like, well, I'm off to the abyss, but I found a loophole. Maybe you can come to the abyss with me. And I was like, I had to watch that scene like 3 or 4 times because I didn't understand what he was offering her. Yeah. I was like, is this a romantic or is this a plan?
Yeah, I was trying.
But it kind of is flirty.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, and we could talk about it later, but Boney M's character is honestly just a vibe. A vibe in terms of like, he's very cool and calm and collected, even though he's playing a demon, and that is not a description of how to describe a demon.
I hate to say this, but both of them had virgin energy. They've never had sex a day in their lives.
No, neither was given virgin energy.
Both of them were given virgin energy to me. Like, yeah, he was dressed as Boney M because that's who she thought was sexy. He's not actually Boney M.
What is virgin energy? And do you see
like both of them just like fell for each other, like no romantic chemistry other than like they spent some time together.
I wasn't seeing romance at all.
Yeah, they held hands. They walked into the sunset. What are you talking about? That's romance. No,
I'm sorry. If there was romance going on, I would want to see like.
No, that was romance. That was not.
I was seeing.
Sorry, I don't. I'm going into the abyss and I don't know. You've actually fucked it for me. Why have I come back to be like, come to the abyss with me?
As friends,
no,
I did not see
you
romance.
never said that.
I never see
I've watched,
romance.
like I said, I had to watch the scene 3 times. It's not as friends.
I didn't see.
It's not as friends. She's got a little smile on her face, and then why they make such a thing of them holding hands if they're not gonna bump butts?
I don't.
Listen, it was literally a show about 2 virgins who had a task to do, and they did the task, and they walked off into the sunset. Anyway, we're jumping ahead.
Yeah.
He says to her, "Do you want to come to the abyss with me?" And she says, "Okay." Well, she smiles, and they're like, "We're going in the abyss." That's the song they sing to each other that I've made up for them.
Absolutely finished.
They walk out of the interrogation room. As they're walking out, the police officers are like, "Hey, what's that?" And they walk up to the window, and the world is literally exploding into nuclear war. Things are blowing up. It's terrible. They're like, "She was telling the truth. What are we gonna do?" By then, she's gone.
Yeah,
her boyfriend anyway.
Also,
that's the end of the act.
I just don't. The apocalypse scene was not realistic because I was like, for real, the whole world has now blown up because you didn't do your task. That part didn't feel realistic. I was like, this is just happening down the road.
I think the whole world does blow up, but what I think is weird is that, like, usually you have to pay a price for something you asked for from the demon, right? I will give you ultimate riches, everything you want, but you've got to give me your firstborn child. This time, this woman is done minding her own damn business, and you said you have to kill and free people, or the world's gonna end. And it's got nothing to do with me. Please leave me out of it. I didn't ask for the world to stay alive. I'm just sweeping. That was my energy. I was like, this is really weird. I've never seen a demon request where it's like by force. Usually it's you ask for something, but in terms of mythology, this was a first. But it was cute. I like them together. They were little sweethearts.
I don't value a relationship. I just thought it was a really close friendship. But
you would say that.
How would you rate this episode? 4. Likewise.
I loved it. It was so fun.
Yeah,
it's annoying how fun it was.
Yeah, it's up there with alongside Jonas Orpha as one of my favorites from the season. It was such a different departure from what Black Mirror has represented in the past.
Like tonally as well. This is exactly up my street. Like I love a supernatural or genre thing that's like also grounded. Like this is just a story about a woman who like her mum has died. She's quite lonely. Yeah. She's in this community where they like are basically trying to say that she is the problem, even though she doesn't do anything wrong at all. And her dream would be to get back at these people, and then here comes this demon who's like, here's an opportunity to get back at these people. And it's just so like...
Yeah. And actually, going back to the conversation we had right at the beginning when we talked about Jonas Awful, about, Black Mirror feeling very Americanized, I would say that Demon 79 is a complete opposite.
Yeah, I think American people would really struggle with that episode.
Yeah, but
it's so interesting because we consume American media so much over here that there are things that you will watch where you're like, I don't get this, but here we are. Like,
we get
for a really long time, I didn't really understand the States. Like, why is it different?
Oh, really?
Like, why are they all of them have their own little cultures. Like, Texas is a place, New York is a place. Like, they're not the same. Yeah. They're not the same.
Oh, no, watch Real Housewives, it's not the same.
Whereas in the UK, it's like the North and the South, really. It's really not that, not that complex.
Yeah, and it's not, and then you add Ireland and that's it. But it's not part of the UK, but we're just saying.
The Northern Ireland. Scotland even has it, but Scotland is Scotland. Yeah. It has its culture. In England, it only is split by North or South.
Yeah.
Do you call chip butty a chip butty, or do you call it chip sarnie? Whatever it is, like these really, really thin lines that are drawn. And
scone or scone.
Tomato. Yeah. Do you call it shag day or mufti day?
Oh, mufti day.
Yeah, things like that. Like,
that's so funny.
It really just shows where you're from. So I think, but like, as in also sensibility and comedy wise, and like, quote unquote, how small the story is. It's very British. So I can imagine Americans being like, but nothing happened.
No, but I've heard that
hey man, nothing happened.
Yeah, I heard Demon 79's got really, really great reviews, and it's one of the the top ones.
But it's such a departure. Like, it's fully tonally a different show.
Yeah, which is why I think that little caveat of it being like Red Mirror and
nobody noticed that.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very small mention, but it's mentioned in the trailer as well. But it is a small nod to like, this is different, which I think Charlie Brooker was purposely trying to do. But it's like, yeah, it was just really fun to see this new world, and just again, it doesn't have to be tech to be Black Mirror.
Call me problematic.
Go on.
But the bit episodes where those black people go, oh, for me anyway.
I mean, Mazey Day was a bit of an exception to that rule.
Well, you know, it's still nice because Zazie Beats. But Paapa did the damn thing in that episode.
Yeah, he did.
I've really seen that before.
No, but I was talking to
she was
someone.
really familiar, but
she was
never...
in Killing Eve. Someone was talking to me about this. Yeah.
Well, I was like,
because we talked about the episode.
And it goes back to that thing of like people who were complaining on the internet saying like Black Mirror used to get unknowns on the show. It's like I feel like this season's did that dance between unknowns and knowns. It's like, yeah, unknown if you haven't seen the shows they're in.
Yeah.
But
like,
they're not unknown.
No, exactly. Like Lock Henry, if you have never watched Industry, they're both unknowns to you.
You don't know who those people are.
Apart from...
We've never seen Game of Thrones, apparently.
No.
If you've never seen... The mum is from...
the mum's from...
Damn, it's something big.
You know, shout it and...
Oh, she's in W1A.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's in other things, but she's in W1A as well.
But, yeah, I think...
She's Welsh in that, so I wonder which one she is from. Oh, Welsh or Scottish. I know she's French this whole time.
I have a random question as we wrap up.
Yeah.
Because we talked about the whole season.
What episode would you want to be in?
Actually, that wasn't the question I was going to ask you, but for you, what do you think is one common thread that runs all the way through the seasons and through the episodes?
I mean, I always go back to this idea of like a regular person plus a form of tech. In this series, tech or supernatural thing equals adventure and or tragedy in some places. And I think maybe equals tragedy is the right answer because in Joan is awful. Joan plus Streamberry equals tragedy for Joan.
Yeah.
Right? In Loch Henry, tragedy for Pia. In Beyond the Sea, tragedy for both of them.
Yeah.
In Mazey Day,
tragedy for Mazey.
And then even in Demon 79, it's Demon 79, isn't it?
Demon 79,
yeah. It's sort of a triumphant tragedy, but like Nida's life as she knows it is over.
Yeah, 100%.
You know?
Yeah. That's such an interesting thing because for me, when I was thinking about all the episodes, I was getting this idea of like morality, like when humans are put to the absolute extremes, and there's a test of like morality between right and wrong. Because you get it with like, well, Joan is pushed to the extreme when she's trying to figure out that her life is now part of Streamberry and like what is right and what is wrong in this sense. What does she want to continue to be Joan in this world, or how is she going to break it, and how are her and Sam are going to work together? Because Loch Henry, there is this question of right and wrong. Like, is it right that
to tell somebody else's most traumatic story for entertainment?
But exactly. Beyond the Sea, I mean, it's just clear. Like, everything that Josh Hartnett did, was it right for him to kill what's his face's husband?
But
family?
Even before that, Rory Culkin's character is saying, it's not right
to have replicants, so therefore we must take this into our hands. Mazey Day, is it right for us to invade someone's privacy to the point where
they can't even be a werewolf in peace? Stay out of my business.
And Demon 79, really the morality of like, if you are given a dilemma to kill 3 people, really and truly,
all the world ends.
But would you do
then?
it? No.
So you'd let the world end?
The world will have to end because I'm not killing people to do that.
Okay.
But I think there's that thread that goes through, but it's really interesting.
That's what they, you know.
Yeah, no. it's interesting that you're talking about threads because sometimes when I look at things in a season with like what we were watching, I really wanted to find what that common thread was. And I know you were just saying, you know.
Yeah, I think that, like, you know, an anthology doesn't necessarily have to have a common theme. Like, take Easy on Netflix. Like, it's a series about couples, really. Yeah. That's the thread. And then all of them are experiencing, you know, are in different places in their relationship, experiencing different things. And I actually quite like that you didn't know what you were going to get from episode to episode. Is this about a couple breaking up? Is this about a couple getting together? Is this about, you know, growing pains of a relationship that has passed its honeymoon phase? Is this about the honeymoon phase? Like, it's annoying because it's one of the hardest things to sell for that reason, which is like, what are people going to get week on week? I can't tell you. Yeah. What I can tell you is it will be good. And that is what, like, I feel like Netflix would never have picked up Black Mirror had it not had 2 seasons already in the bag. True. I agree. You know, it's really, really hard to sell an anthology. It's super hard to sell. I mean, at this point, you can't.
No.
But the amount of time I've pitched an anthology and they've gone, we would never be able to sell this.
No, but I think it's also because, like, even the way that people watch shows, like, it's all about the people completing the series, whereas an anthology, literally, you can pick and choose. You don't need to, because, like what we were talking about, you've probably watched every single episode of the Black Mirror. I have not. I've only cherry picked the ones where I've been told, you need to watch this, you will love this.
Yeah, and I was talking to a colleague about this new season, and they didn't even watch the episodes in order.
Yeah, and that's another thing.
What? I was like, how did you even manage to do that? Like, I just pushed episode 1 and let it play. Like, I wasn't like, let me pick this one or that one. Like, no. I remember because I share a Netflix account with my sister, I don't know if I'm legally allowed to share that anymore, but she had watched the season before me. So when I watched episode 1, it was like, time to play episode 5, and I said, no. Or it said, next season starts now. I said, next season?
Oh, no.
Really, it was going to make me watch series 1 again, but I've just watched that. So, I almost had this experience of not watching it all together, but I did in the end, and it was brilliant, and I loved it. And is it my favourite season of Black Mirror? I cannot answer that question.
Okay.
Because it needs a rewatch for me to know, like, I want to come back to this. Like, there are definitely episodes where I'm like, I would never go back and watch that. Like, Shut Up and Dance, I've never gone back and watched that.
Is that the one with Miley Cyrus?
No, I've watched that one before. It's the one where the guy is being blackmailed by this, like, virus that's locked his computer, and it keeps giving him tasks, and then at the end you realise that it's because he was looking at child pornography.
Oh my gosh!
It's a really big twist, but that episode I didn't enjoy, and then when the twist came out, I was like, I like it even less. I would have watched this. There's an army episode in the Nosedive series, so series 3 or 4, I can't remember. Maybe it's 4, because I feel like we've only had 4, 5 and 6
on Netflix. I think it's only
so 3 was on
3, 4, 5, 6.
Well, we've had 4 seasons on Netflix.
I think so.
I can't remember, but it's in the Nosedive season. There is a soldier version where they basically created this game or app where you think you're not at war anymore.
Oh wow!
And you're just playing a game, but you are in fact you are actually at war, still operating like a version of yourself.
Sweet, yeah.
I've never watched that episode again. I haven't watched the one where there's like the robots that work in like a Amazon warehouse turn on everyone and start killing them. I haven't watched that episode again. It sucked. It was. I haven't watched the drone episode. There's loads and loads of episodes I have not gone back to, but
I think there's some really good, worthy ones that are worth a rewatch.
I think every season there's one like standout.
Yeah. And what
season there's a lot of standouts.
What was your one standout for this? Standouts for this season.
I already told you. I've ranked them. It goes Beyond the Sea, Demon 79, Joan is awful, and Lock Henry equal footing, and then Mazey Day. But if I was ranking all my top 10 episodes, Mazey Day wouldn't even be in there.
No. And which shows would you want to either have written or be part of?
Demon 79, because tonally it's something that I would watch. Something I feel like sensibilities-wise is something I would make.
Yeah.
Beyond the Sea, I don't think I could make, but I loved it, and I'm glad that there are people that can make things like that.
So interesting.
I don't know who wrote those other episodes, but I know that Demon 79 was co-written.
Oh, was it?
Bisha K. Ali, who wrote on a Marvel show.
Interesting.
And also was a writer's assistant or story
Is she the
on
one?
Sex Ed.
Oh, okay, interesting. Was she the one that won some type of fellowship?
Yes.
At
Sky.
At Sky.
Yes,
Oh wow, she's doing.
She runs the fellowship at Sky to help
That's
new writers.
incredible. That's incredible.
She also wrote, I think, on Marvelous Miss Maisel, or maybe maybe it was what's the Avenger girly one?
Miss Avengers.
Miss Marvel.
Miss Marvel. Sorry, Miss Avengers.
Maybe it was Miss Marvel, not the Marvelous Miss Maisel. They sound the same. I met her. She's really cool.
Yeah. In terms of my rankings, it goes.
You know his wife's written an episode.
His wife?
Yeah, Connie wrote an episode.
Not
this season.
No, the previous season.
Yeah.
Connie Huck, for the girlies and also the guys as well. She's like a Blue Peter presenter that we know and love.
Go off, Connie.
Honestly, I still like.
Where did they meet?
Seeing Charlie Brooker in interviews.
Where did they meet?
I'm so intrigued because Connie Huck and Charlie Brooker is not a couple or pairing I would ever put together. In terms of my rankings and my favourite episodes, it
Connie
definitely
should be with Matt. When I was a kid, I was like,
yes,
people who work together have to be married.
Yes.
So Connie should be with Matt.
So interesting.
Sorry.
Yeah. My favourites were Jones Awful, Demon 79, Beyond the Sea, then Lock Henry, and then Mazey.
I want to know who's put Mazey in their top 10.
No, I don't think. Yeah, and if I was gonna be in one or write one, I think it'd probably be Beyond the Sea or.
Who were you gonna be in Beyond the Sea?
Karamara.
Karamara. If I was doing 79,
I'll be the bookshop owner.
Damn, that's soft.
But actually, I also want to be Jonas Awful, and I want to be the person who's like in Streamberry, like saying, "We've got all your details."
I love that it was
the girl from I
Hate Susie. Yeah. That made me really happy. I really like her.
Yeah.
If I was in Demon 79, honestly, I'm torn between being Boney M or neither. I want to be one of them.
Yeah. Oh, I think secretly everyone wants to be Boney M. I don't want to be the demon. I want to be Boney M.
Maybe if I'm neither, then I get to smooch Boney M. We put that
I just don't see the romance. I don't see the romance.
Because there would be romance in the version that I am in.
If I ever got to talk to Charlie Brooker, I'll be like, was that supposed to be a romance?
You know, I saw Paapa outside when I was walking to work the other day.
Really? He seems very like down with the kids.
I'm not doing funny, but he was checking me out. Matter, he's short, so...
Oh, really? Those platform hills...
Is there any tall men left in the world? There's no good men, there's no tall men. I'm telling you, there's none left.
In entertainment, there's not many tall men.
There's none left.
No, there's none. Alright, look. We have been reviewing Black Mirror for these past 2 episodes. It has been a journey. It's been so well worth it. So, next week...
I kissed a boy. And
I liked it. So we're going to review I Kissed a Boy.
It doesn't work with I Kissed a Boy like that.
No, it doesn't really. Which is a dating reality show.
For the gays. It's Pride Month!
On BBC. Starring and hosted by Danny Minogue. We have thoughts.
He looks great.
Anyway, yeah. As the boys always say.
Danny, you look great.
You look great. So that's going to be next week. As I said, throughout the month of July, we're going to be doing minisodes where we review our favourites.
They're not mini, babe.
They're not mini, but we're doing reviews of our faves. So make sure you keep on tuning in. Make sure you like, you subscribe, you comment, you tell a friend, you watch the shows and you tell us what your favourite ones are. Drop down in the comments if you're watching on YouTube or if you're listening, what your top 5s and what's your rankings of this season of Black Mirror.
No wrong answers except for the answers that don't agree with mine.
And if you like Mazey Day, let us know as well. Anyway, this has...
Your address so we can call the police.
Yeah, anyway. This has been Scripts and Giggles with Shoshana.
And Boney Marnie.
Bye.
Bye.